Please silence all electronic devices. The ceremony will start in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the procession of graduates and the entrance to the stage party and remain standing for the national anthem.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please join me for the invocation? Lord, today is the day that the dream finally comes true. Matriculation Day in some ways seems so long ago, yet in some ways seems not long ago at all. On Matriculation Day, none of these cadets realized the adversity that they would face, the blood, sweat, and tears that they would shed, or the intensity of the obstacles they would overcome. But neither did they realize the depth of satisfaction they would receive from their efforts, nor the pride that they would feel from pushing themselves beyond their limits, nor did they realize the power and the loyalty of the relationships they would develop. And lastly, on Matriculation Day, they had little understanding of the magnitude of the word honor. Today they stand tall, accomplished, full of pride, gratitude, and joy. Their families appropriately beam with delight and pleasure. Their professors look on with approval and satisfaction. Today marks the greatest achievement of their young lives. For that, we offer up our heartfelt thanks. But today also marks the day they launch out into a world filled with tension and division and complexity and uncertainty. Lord, raise up these 26 graduates to make a difference. Equip them to stand for what is right and true and noble. Fill them with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. May they never grow weary in doing good. May they lead with conviction and integrity and confidence. May those around them seek to emulate their character. But above all, give them unwavering faith. Faith in themselves, but most importantly, faith in you. We ask this all in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. Well, good morning, members of the VMI Board of Visitors, the Academic Board, staff and faculty, members of the Corps of Cadets, parents, grandparents, friends, and graduating cadets. Welcome. This is a special day in the life of our graduating cadets and their families, and we are pleased to host you for this culminating event and to celebrate their achievement. Joining me on the stage this morning are the President of the VMI Board of Visitors and our graduation speaker, Mr. John William Bolin, VMI class of 1973. VMI's Deputy Superintendent for Academics and Dean of the Faculty, Brigadier General Robert Moreschi. VMI's Deputy Superintendent for Finance, Administration, and Support, Brigadier General Dallas Clark, VMI class of 1999. VMI's Registrar, Colonel Janet Battaglia. The Institute and Chaplain to the Corps of Cadets, Colonel Robert Phillips, VMI class of 1987, and Associate Chaplain, Major John Casper, VMI class of 2004. While we normally think of VMI graduations taking place in Cameron Hall, located to our south on Lexington's Main Street, celebrating graduation here in Jackson Memorial Hall is also very special. The famous architect, Bertram Goodyear, designed this hall along with numerous famous buildings across the country, including the National Academy of Sciences building in Washington, D.C. The first gathering here in JM Hall was during Thanksgiving in 1916, just over 100 years ago. The classic Gothic architecture and many of the buildings surrounding you is one of VMI's trademarks that you perhaps will remember as you reminisce about your time at the Institute. Shortly after this hall was complete, the world was at war, and our country prepared for uncertain times. ROTC was first established, and VMI was one of the founding members. Since then, generations of cadets have sat on these hard benches while enduring many challenges throughout their cadetship, mental, physical, and emotional, to prepare them for life as a citizen soldier and en route to earning the coveted VMI diploma. You are now part of that lineage of cadets who have conquered the course and shortly will be awarded your degree and join our proud alumni body. We should acknowledge your parents, family members, classmates, and close friends. And I know that each graduating cadet appreciates the encouragement he or she has received from them, as well as from instructors and coaches, military officers of the Institute, and host families downtown. Every cadetship has its highs and lows, but it certainly would have been considerably more difficult without their support. So let's give a warm applause and thanks to those special people in our lives. As you leave the Institute to begin the next phase of your life, please remember what you have learned: honor, teamwork, discipline, resilience, and certainly loyal friendship of classmates and others. And stay in touch with your brotherettes and with the Institute, and return as often as you can and know you're always welcome here. I congratulate you this morning and am confident that you have formed a firm foundation to build your lives upon, and all of us at the Institute wish you the very, very best in the years ahead. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest and graduating speaker, Mr. John William Bolin, VMI class of 1973, and President of the VMI Board of Visitors. Mr. Bolin arrived at VMI from Jackson, Mississippi in 1969. One of the first sights he probably saw at VMI was the final stage of construction of our alumni building, Moody Hall, near Limits Gates. And maybe on that day he envisioned what it would be like to be an alumnus of VMI. He has been a great leader and friend of the Institute ever since. During his cadetship, he majored in history, participated and lettered on the football and indoor track teams, was part of the scuba and dance club, and occupied a spot on the dean's list. And in 1973, during Mr. Bolin's first class year, he was on the coordinating committee that planned the annual VMI symposium at that time. And that committee selected Design and Disorder, Community Planning, and Our Future as their theme. The symposium focused on requirements for future civic leadership and the development of communities from various viewpoints, including environmental, economic, and urban planning. And I think we may say that the theme of this conference was a premonition of Mr. Bolin's future professional career and community involvement. Following graduation, he taught U.S. government and U.S. history at Harrisonburg High School and coached football, wrestling, and baseball. And smartly, he married his VMI sweetheart, the former Miss Judith V. Stovall of Harrisonburg, a graduate of Mary Bolin College, and also later she earned a master's in education from the University of Virginia. Proudly, they have 3 children and 4 grandchildren. He attended law school and received his Juris Doctor in 1984 from the University of Richmond and joined the prestigious law firm McGuire Woods. And in 1992, he became a partner, served as chairman of the Business and Securities Litigation Department and on the firm's important and respected strategic planning and advisory committees, retiring in 2018. He has contributed to his community in many ways. This included work with the nonprofit Rebuilding Richmond Together, which he co-founded, a group that helps rehabilitate housing for the elderly and low-income families. He served on the Central Virginia Legal Aid Society's Board of Directors for many years and its president in 2002-2003, a group that provides legal services and helps defend the rights of those less fortunate. In 2013, Mr. Bolin was appointed to the VMI Board of Visitors, and in the summer of 2015, he was elected as vice president of the board. 2 years later, he was elected as president, and shortly he will become one of the longest-serving board presidents in VMI's history and the longest in recent times. Mr. Bolin has loyally served his community, state, and alma mater. His sterling leadership and wisdom has been exhibited with frequency, and we're so very grateful for his outstanding service to the Institute. I have personally enjoyed his counsel, his steadiness and common sense under pressure, his wisdom and loyalty. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Virginia Military Institute's Board of Visitors, a champion of all things VMI, a selfless servant, a close, valued friend, Mr. John William Bolin, VMI class of 1973. Bill?
Thanks, that's a little over the top. Almost started looking around wondering who he was talking about. It was very nice, thank you. General Peeb, members of the academic board, faculty, staff, cadets, family, friends, and especially graduates. Congratulations to you and your family. It's been a great joint effort to get you here today. And I especially want to recognize your parents and grandparents who have done so much to make today happen. So if the parents and grandparents would please stand up for a round of applause. Thank you. Almost 47 years ago, I graduated from VMI. I had no connection with the school before I came here, so let me tell you how I got here. When I was a senior in high school, I was recruited to play football by a few schools, including the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, which was in my home state. One weekend, Ole Miss invited me to stand on the sidelines for their game at Mississippi Memorial Stadium versus the University of Kentucky. This was especially an honor to me since my dad had played football at Kentucky. So there I was, standing on the sidelines, watching the game, along with 57,000 other people in my hometown. Ole Miss had a quarterback at the time named Archie Manning. You may be more familiar with his two sons, Peyton and Eli, who, like their dad, were very successful college and pro quarterbacks. Like Eli and Peyton, Archie was a great passer. At some point in the second quarter, Manning took the snap, looked deep for his receiver, covered. He rolled into the Ole Miss sideline, threw a flare pass to his halfback. Halfback reaches out for it. Ball goes flying through the halfback's hands, hits the ground, pops up, and hits me. It hit me where my grandchildren would call a private part. It was a direct hit. It knocked me down. I was in pain. The Ole Miss trainers had to come to my rescue. They moved the offensive line off of their bench, stretched me out, and began to provide some relief. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. All in front of 57,000 people. Needless to say, that was the last I heard from Ole Miss. Fortunately, VMI was not aware of this embarrassing incident and offered me a chance to play here, which I gladly accepted. This little story reminds me of one of my favorite Garth Brooks songs, Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. I grew up in Mississippi with 7 brothers and sisters. I wanted to go to college. My parents had a lot of mouths to feed. They couldn't afford to send me. So playing for Ole Miss, I thought, was the answer to my prayer. But the good Lord, as he often does, had another plan. This particular unanswered prayer led me to Lexington, where I received a great undergraduate education, developed leadership skills, and was imbued with the moral compass that is our honor code, all in the crucible that is VMI. This is also where I had the great good fortune to meet Judy Stovall, my wife of 45 years, sorry, Judy. This is, as General P said, this is my 7th year on the Board of Visitors and my 3rd year as president. I've learned so much about VMI during this time. First, your faculty is wonderful, incredibly dedicated and smart. They're committed to your success, and I have seen you interact with them inside and outside the classroom, research, going to conferences, helping communities locally and around the world. Second, your administration is highly professional and exhibits the characteristics of true leadership. They make every decision with VMI's and your best interest at heart. I have seen you, the Corps, from first-class privates to the regimental staff to the honor court, working effectively with administration to truly run the school. And I can say this unequivocally, no other school in the nation puts such responsibility on its students, and you have handled it very well. I would like to single out one person who has had a great positive experience on you and many others of us here today, and that is General J.H. Benford P. III, our superintendent. Perhaps in the minds of many, and certainly in my mind, VMI's greatest superintendent. General P., thank you so much for all you do. You're graduating today from one of the top schools in the nation. A lot of alumni in my vintage have a hard time understanding that, but it's true. Poll after poll confirms this. If there were a poll that measured the most difficult colleges in terms of academics, physicality, time management, dealing with stress, and above all, holding honor as its highest ideal, we would be first for sure. And you, my fellow graduates, are graduating from the toughest school in the nation. You should be very, very proud. There are many positive traits that you'll carry with you over the next years, the remainder of your years. and this is because of the life-changing education and training you've received here. Though there are many of these positive characteristics, I want to talk about two of them, and you've heard a lot about this during your 4 years here. And I want to speak to leadership and honor. First, leadership. You are leaders, and you'll continue to be leaders in civil and military societies. But let me talk about 5 key characteristics of leadership that you have now and how you will use these during your careers with your family and with your friends. First is commitment. Leaders are committed to do the job and do it well. Nothing is worth doing unless you do it right. You've been learning commitment since the day you matriculated. Commitment to the values of the Institute: honor, integrity, civility, service before self. These are the hallmarks of a citizen soldier. You will carry this commitment to your next venture, either in military or civilian life. Stay the course. Stay the course when things get tough and might appear insurmountable to others. You've demonstrated already your commitment to these goals by being here today. Second is hard work. With commitment comes hard work. There is simply no substitute for that. Leaders stay the course. They don't punch a time clock. They put in the time, effort, and hard work to get it done. As you know, nothing comes easy in barracks. Nothing comes easy at VMI. It takes hard work and dedication. Our adversarial system takes you out of your comfort zone. It places heavy constraints on your daily schedule that requires you to prioritize and to manage your time, and this is all by design, and you've learned to handle that very well. Physically, you've worked harder than students at any other school. Academically, you've persevered to earn one of 14 demanding majors, and as some of you know, there's no great inflation here. Third characteristic is expertise. Leaders expect to be judged and judge others based on merit and merit alone. Whatever your first assignment, just master it. Become the smartest person in the room on that topic, no matter how serious or seemingly trivial it is. Just nail it. This will become a most effective and useful tool for your success. And whether you realize it or not, you've become experts at running this school. I'll say it again, no other college places that sort of responsibility for students' learning and welfare as VMI. You've done this through the cadre, through core leadership, sports leadership, the honor system, the OGA, the GC, and many, many other ways. These 3 characteristics that I just talked about need to be balanced and tempered with goodness, caring, and empathy, something that all exceptional leaders demonstrate. Make these things part of your DNA. Show kindness and understanding, especially to those people who are working for you. You will be respected for this. It is a sign of true strength, not weakness. I know you're familiar with the saying, mission first and people always. Well, this is true. Take care of the people who take care of the mission, and you will have continued success. As you move forward, make it a point to find a mentor, and make it a point, even in your early careers, to be a mentor to others. Find someone who will be a role model and serve as a role model to others. Someone you can go to for advice and guidance. These relationships will have a lasting impact, just like the relationship that we've developed with our dykes here at VMI. 3 great people served as mentors to me during my legal career. First is Robert H. Patterson, Jr., VMI class of 1949C, and grandfather to Buck Patterson, who's graduating today. He was a great leader of a great national law firm. His lasting legacy still continues at my firm. Mr. Patterson taught me the critical importance of loyalty. Loyalty to family, loyalty to friends, loyalty to clients. And I know of no other person who was more loyal to this school than VMI. I'm honored to have here with me today 2 of my law partners who helped shape my career and who continue to serve as mentors and role models for me. Mrs. Robert H. Patterson, Jr. and Mr. Richard Cullen. Anne Marie Whittemore is the smartest person and with the best legal judgment that I know. Ann was my direct mentor when I joined the law firm. Ann taught me that there is absolutely no substitute for thorough preparation. Prepare for the big things and prepare for the little things. It gives you a winning advantage. Richard is a former Board of Visitors member, and he was chairman of our firm for 10 years. He was instrumental in my appointment to the board, and I'm indebted to him for that. Richard taught me the power of one simple word, and that word is yes. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can help someone. Yes, you can succeed. Yes, you can do this on your own. Yes, more often than not, is the right answer. Both Richard and Ann took the time to provide me with guidance and encouragement for which I am deeply grateful. Finally, in terms of leadership, learn from mistakes. They can be one of life's greatest learning tools. Think of your own experiences. You recall more vividly, perhaps, and learn more about yourself and your surroundings from your mistakes than from your achievements. All of you have had the opportunity to succeed and fail here. Does 10, 6, and 30 ring a bell to anybody? It still does to me. Learn both from your successes and your failures. And don't be tempted to gloss over the mistakes. Don't hide them. Let them see the light of day. Shine a light on them. Own them. By doing this, you will solve the problems, and you and others will continue to learn. To summarize, your time at VMI has helped mold you into committed, hardworking, empathetic leaders who stand on their own merit and who learn humbly from mistakes. For many others, it takes decades of experiences to develop these skills, if they develop them at all. So as you enter your next phase of life, enter it with confidence that you have what it takes to succeed. Aside from leadership, the second important characteristic that is now ingrained in your mind and soul is honor. It's one of the very first things that was spoken about after your matriculation. You've lived it for over 4 years, and it'll be with you for the rest of your life. It's a badge that you should proudly display. You've learned through your families and through VMI not to lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. This is a moral code, and it will serve you well. Continue to follow it. In your careers and in your family life, nothing is more important than your word. And along with that, your words. Choose them carefully. Words have meaning. They can hurt, they can support, they can demonstrate expertise, they can convey love. So choose your words carefully. You have learned to speak the truth when it is difficult. You've learned to speak the truth when it may hurt you or it may hurt others. You've learned to speak the truth on big things and small matters. Your credibility on all things big and small will serve you well, and it is on this foundation that you will have highly successful and rewarding professional and personal life. So, my graduates, as you leave the Institute today to begin your new life, know that you have what it takes to be successful. You are citizen soldiers. You have the learning, the leadership skills, and the moral code to bring great honor to yourself, your family, this school, the Commonwealth, and our great nation. God bless us all, and God bless VMI. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boland, for those thoughtful and inspiring remarks. I'm sure they will last with these cadets for a long time. Will the candidates for graduation please rise? The Academic Board has presented to the Board of Visitors all candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree and all candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree, all of whom have been certified to have completed the requirements for graduation from the Virginia Military Institute.
By the authority of law vested in the Board of Visitors and faculty, I confer upon each of you a diploma in testimony of your being a graduate of the Virginia Military Institute and award you the bachelor's degree appropriate to your major field of study. Please be seated and come forward as your name is called. General Mareshi, will you please read the names of the graduates?
The Bachelor of Science degree in Applied Mathematics, David Curtis Carter, Ensign, United States Navy. Samuel Patrick Norris. The Bachelor of Science degree in Biology, Henry Jacob Bolter, Second Lieutenant, United States Army. James Elliott Hendricks III, Second Lieutenant, United States Army. Sadie J. Sandiffer. The Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering, Robert Hobson Patterson IV. Jared Austin Richmond. John Spencer Shaunabais, Second Lieutenant, United States Army. The Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science, Joshua Thomas Hasseker. The Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Buka John Anwa III. Jordan Trent Costley. The Bachelor of Science degree in Mechanical Engineering, Spencer Lawrence Balson, minor in Mathematics. The Bachelor of Science degree in Physics, Connor A. Keene. John Matthews Pittman IV, Second Lieutenant, United States Army. The Bachelor of Arts degree in Biology, Corey Scott Johnstone, minor in Exercise Science. Andrew Paul Mortensen, Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force. Christian Daniel Purdy. Gavin Madison Stanley. The Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Business, Bentley Gray Dudek. John Joseph Neenan. Joseph Lloyd Phillips, Second Lieutenant, United States Army. Tyler Ryan Watts. the Bachelor of Arts degree in History, Jordan Michael Bennett, Second Lieutenant, United States Marine Corps. Zane Marshall Greshek. Joseph Brady Hughes, with distinction. The Bachelor of Arts degree in International Studies, James Patrick McKenna, minor in Exercise Science. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2019 December graduates of the Virginia Military Institute. All graduates, their families, and guests are invited to join us now for a reception in Moody Hall. These proceedings are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you. It's true. I sure did. You know,